Growing up, I was the peacekeeper. The one who smoothed things over at family dinners when voices got too loud, who always volunteered to stay late and help clean up, who never complained when plans changed last minute to accommodate everyone else. I didn't make waves. I just existed in the spaces between everyone else's needs, making sure everything ran smoothly. My older sister Emma was different. She was the star. Captain of her college volleyball team, married to Derek, a successful contractor, 2 beautiful kids, Lily and Mason. She had this way of walking into a room and commanding attention without even trying. Mom and Dad would light up whenever she talked about her life, her kids' achievements, her latest home renovation project. I loved my sister. I really did. But somewhere along the way, I became the person everyone expected to just be there, available, flexible, understanding. It started small. Can you watch the kids this weekend? We really need a date night. Can you pick up Lily from soccer practice? I'm running late from work. Can you help with Mason's school project? He learns better with you anyway. I said yes, every single time. I was a pediatric nurse, working 12-hour shifts at Children's Hospital downtown. My schedule was exhausting, but I loved my job. Those kids needed me, and I showed up for them every single day. When I came home to my small apartment, I was usually too tired to do much more than heat up leftovers and collapse on the couch. But for Emma, I always found energy. For 3 years, I reorganized my life around hers. I switched shifts so I could babysit. I spent my days off driving Lily to activities or helping Mason with his reading struggles. When Derek's mother got sick and they needed someone to watch the kids for a week, I used my vacation days. I didn't mind. Family helps family, right? That's what Mom always said. The first crack appeared on a Tuesday afternoon in late October. I'd just finished a particularly brutal shift. We'd lost a patient, a 7-year-old with leukemia who I'd been caring for over months. I was emotionally destroyed, barely holding it together as I drove to Emma's house to pick up Lily from the bus stop like I'd promised weeks ago. I arrived at 3:15. The bus came at 3:20. I sat in my car, trying to pull myself together, when my phone rang. Emma. Where are you? Her voice was sharp. I'm here, outside your house. You're late. I glanced at the clock. 3:16. The bus isn't even here yet. That's not the point. You said you'd be here at 3. I have plans, and I needed to leave 5 minutes ago. Something in her tone made my chest tighten. Emma, I just came from the hospital. We had a really hard case today, and I don't have time for this right now. Can you just be reliable for once? I have a hair appointment that I booked 6 weeks ago, and if I'm late, they'll charge me anyway. Be reliable for once. The words hit me like a slap. For once? I'd rearranged my entire life for her for 3 years, and she thought I wasn't reliable? I'm here, I said quietly. I'll wait for Lily. She hung up without saying goodbye. I sat there, staring at my phone, feeling something shift inside me. It was subtle, like a foundation settling, but I felt it. That weekend, Emma texted me. Emma, hey, can you take the kids to Mom and Dad's on Sunday? Derek's taking me to that new spa resort for our anniversary. Drop them off around 10 a.m.? Thanks. I stared at the message. It wasn't really a question. It was an assumption that I'd say yes, dressed up with a heart emoji. Me, I can't. I'm working. The 3 dots appeared immediately, disappeared, appeared again. Emma, what do you mean you're working? You work Monday through Friday. Me, I picked up an extra shift. Emma, can't you switch it? This is our anniversary. We planned this months ago. Me, I'm sorry, but no. My hands were shaking as I typed it. Such a small word. No, 2 letters, but it felt massive. Emma, seriously? You can't do this one thing for me? Me, I've done a lot of things for you, Emma. I just can't this time. Emma, wow, okay, I see how it is. She didn't text me for 3 days after that. The silence felt strange, but also lighter somehow. Then came Thanksgiving. Mom called me 2 weeks before to go over plans. We always did Thanksgiving at Emma's house because she had the space, the big dining room, the perfect hosting setup. I usually arrived early to help prep and stayed late to clean up. So we're doing 11 o'clock, Mom said. Emma's doing a turkey and ham this year. Oh, and she mentioned you should bring your cranberry sauce. Everyone loves it." "Sounds good," I said. The Tuesday before Thanksgiving, Emma called me. Not texted. Called. "Hey," she said, her voice careful. "So, I need to talk to you about Thursday." "Okay." Derek and I have been talking, and we've decided to make Thanksgiving more intimate this year. Just us, the kids and Derek's parents. His mom hasn't been doing well, and we want to make sure it's not too overwhelming for her with a big crowd. I felt my stomach drop. "Oh, you understand, right? It's nothing personal. We just need to keep it small and low-key. Mom said we're doing 11 o'clock at your place." "Yeah, Mom and Dad are still coming, and Derek's parents. It's not that small, but you know what I mean. We're keeping it to immediate family and in-laws." Immediate family. I was her sister, her only sister. "Emma, I don't understand. I'm your immediate family." She sighed, like I was being difficult. "Come on, don't make this weird. You know what I mean. People with families, spouses and kids and parents. It's just different when you're single. You wouldn't really fit in with the dynamic we're going for." "The dynamic? What dynamic is that?" I heard myself ask. "You know, traditional family Thanksgiving. Derek's parents are very traditional, and having a bunch of random single people there would just make it awkward." A bunch of random single people. I was a bunch of random single people. "I've been coming to Thanksgiving at your house for 7 years, I said slowly. "I know. And that was fine before, but things are different now. Derek's mom is fragile, and we need to prioritize what's best for her. And what's best for her is me not being there. Don't be dramatic. Look, why don't you do Friendsgiving or something? I bet a lot of your nurse friends don't have family nearby. You could start your own tradition." "My own tradition, away from my family, because I didn't fit the dynamic." "Does Mom know you're uninviting me?" I asked. "I'm not uninviting you. I'm just explaining that this year is different. And yes, Mom knows. She understands. She understands that you're excluding your sister from Thanksgiving?" Emma's voice turned cold. "You're really going to make me say it? Fine. Thanksgiving is about celebrating what you're grateful for, what you've built, what you've accomplished. It's about family and success and... Look, you're 32 years old. You're still renting that tiny apartment, working insane hours, single, no kids, no real plans for the future. Being around that on a day when we're supposed to be celebrating our blessings is just, it's a downer, okay? Derek's parents are going to be talking about their grandkids and their legacy, and Mom and Dad will be proud of what I've built, and you'll just be sitting there being you." The silence that followed was deafening. "Being me," I repeated. "I didn't mean it like that. I just meant..." "No, I think you meant exactly that. I'm a downer. I don't fit your Thanksgiving vision because I haven't built the right kind of life." "You're twisting my words." "Am I? Because it sounds like you're saying, I'm not successful enough to sit at your table." "Oh my God, now you're being ridiculous. I'm trying to be honest with you. Not everything is about you. Sometimes families need to make decisions that work for everyone. And this year, having you there would just be uncomfortable." Uncomfortable? I closed my eyes, feeling something break apart inside me. Not dramatically, not with tears or screaming, just a quiet fracture, clean and final. "Okay," I said. "Okay? Okay, I won't come. You're right. I wouldn't want to make anyone uncomfortable with my failure of a life. That's not what I hung up. For the next hour, I sat on my couch, staring at nothing. Then I picked up my phone and looked at my calendar. Every week for the past 3 years, color-coded blocks marked the time I'd given to Emma. Tuesday afternoons, Thursday evenings, every other Saturday, random mornings and late nights. I opened my photos, albums full of Lily and Mason, their school plays, birthday parties, soccer games, dance recitals. I was in maybe 3 photos total, always in the background, always half cut off or blurry. I went to my messages with Emma, scrolled back months. My texts were always longer, always asking how I could help, what she needed, when I should be where. Her responses were short, often just emojis, sometimes just K. The last time she'd asked me how I was doing was 6 months ago, and that was only because Mom had mentioned I was sick with bronchitis. I'd been so busy being available that I hadn't noticed I'd become invisible. That night, I texted her. Me. Hey, I've been thinking about what you said. You're right that I need to focus on my own life more, so I won't be able to help with the kids anymore. I hope you understand. I didn't wait for a response. I went to my work portal and signed up for 3 extra shifts over the next 2 weeks. Then I texted my friend Sarah from the hospital, a travel nurse who'd been trying to get me to join her for a hiking trip for months. Me. Is that spot in your hiking group still open for Thanksgiving weekend? Sarah. Yes. You're finally coming? Me. I'm finally coming. Thanksgiving Day, I was in the Smoky Mountains with 6 other nurses, laughing around a campfire, eating chili from a pot and drinking wine from metal cups. We shared stories about our worst shifts, our best patients, our dreams of travel nursing in different states. Someone played guitar. Someone else taught us a drinking game that had us crying with laughter. I didn't check my phone until the next morning. 17 missed calls from Emma, 23 texts. Emma, are you seriously not answering me? Emma, I need you to watch the kids tomorrow. Derek's mom had to go to the ER and we need to be with her. Emma, this is important. Family emergency. Emma, where are you? Emma, Mom said you're on some trip. Are you kidding me right now? Emma, you're so selfish. Derek's mom could be dying and you're off playing in the woods. Emma, when you get back we need to talk. This is unacceptable. I read them all, then put my phone away and went to make breakfast with my new friends. When I got home Sunday night, exhausted and sunburned, and happier than I'd been in years, there was a car in my apartment parking lot. Emma's SUV. She was leaning against it, arms crossed, face tight with anger. Where the hell have you been? She demanded as I got out of my car. Hiking. Hiking. Derek's mother was in the hospital and you were hiking. Is she okay? I asked, genuinely concerned. She's fine. They released her Friday night. That's not the point. What is the point, Emma? The point is that when I needed you, you weren't there. You just disappeared. I pulled my backpack from my trunk, shouldered it. I was on a trip I'd planned. Since when? You never mentioned any trip. Since you uninvited me from Thanksgiving, I figured I should start building my own traditions, like you suggested. Her mouth opened, closed. I didn't uninvite you. I explained that this year was different. Right. Because I'm a downer who doesn't fit the successful family dynamic. I never said that. You said it almost word for word, Emma. She ran her hands through her hair, frustrated. Look, maybe I phrased things badly, but you're completely overreacting, so you didn't come to one Thanksgiving. So what? That doesn't mean you get to just abandon the family when we need you. Abandon the family, I repeated softly. That's interesting, because from my perspective, you made it very clear I'm not really part of the family, at least not the one that matters. Oh, come on, don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being honest. You told me I make people uncomfortable because I haven't built the right kind of life. You said I'm not celebrating what you're grateful for. Those were your words, Emma, not mine. I was stressed. Derek's mom was being difficult about the menu, and For 3 years, I interrupted, I have rearranged my life around yours. I've canceled plans, switched shifts, used vacation days, spent my days off taking care of your kids. And the one time I said no to something, you were angry. And now you're standing in my parking lot at 9 p.m. on a Sunday, furious that I wasn't available during a 3-day holiday that you explicitly told me I shouldn't attend. She stared at me. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm done. Done with what? Done being the person everyone expects to just be available. Done rearranging my life around yours. Done being invisible except when you need something. That's not fair. You're family. Family helps each other. You're right. Family does help each other, but I've only seen help going in one direction, and I'm too much of a downer to keep doing it. Her face flushed. So that's it? One bad conversation and you're just cutting us off? It wasn't one bad conversation, Emma. It was the conversation that made me realize what all the other conversations had been telling me all along. And what's that? That I was never a sister to you. I was just convenient. I walked past her toward my apartment. She followed. You can't just walk away from your family. I turned at my door. You walked away from me first. You just called it making space for the people who matter. I never said you don't matter. You didn't have to. I went inside and closed the door. She knocked for 10 minutes, calling my name, saying we needed to talk, that I was being unreasonable. I turned on music and unpacked my hiking gear, carefully not listening. Eventually, she left. The next morning, Mom called. Emma said you two had a fight. Did she tell you what it was about? A pause. She said you're upset about Thanksgiving. Did she tell you what she said to me about Thanksgiving? Another pause, longer this time. She mentioned that she tried to explain the situation and you took it the wrong way. The wrong way. Honey, you know Emma, she doesn't always think before she speaks, but she loves you. Does she, Mom? Because people who love you don't tell you you're too much of a failure to sit at their table. She didn't say that. She said I was a downer. That being around my life on Thanksgiving, while everyone else celebrated their accomplishments, would be uncomfortable. She said, I don't fit the dynamic of people with real families. Silence. Mom, I'm sure she didn't mean it like that. How else could she possibly mean it? She's under a lot of stress with Derek's mother and the kids, and I'm tired, Mom. I'm tired of everyone's stress being more important than mine. I work 12-hour shifts, taking care of sick children. I watch people's kids die. And then I come home and reorganize my entire life so Emma can have date nights and spa weekends. And apparently that makes me the convenient failure sister who's too depressing to have at holiday dinners. You're not a failure. Then why didn't you say something when she uninvited me? The silence stretched out so long I thought she'd hung up. I thought it might be for the best, she finally said quietly. Just for this year. Derek's parents are very traditional, and you know how they are about unmarried women at family events. They make comments, and I thought it might be easier for everyone if I wasn't there. Just for 1 year, just to keep the peace. I felt something inside me go completely still. You agreed with her. I didn't agree. I just understood where she was coming from. You understood that your daughter's life is so disappointing that it's better if she's not around for holidays. That's not what I said. It's what you meant. You're being unfair. Emma and I both want what's best for you. And maybe being around all that family energy when you don't have your own family yet is hard. Maybe it would be better for you to focus on building your own life instead of spending so much time with us. I was spending time with my family, Mom. That's what I thought I was doing. You know what I mean. I do. I really do. And that's the problem. I hung up. She tried calling back 3 times. I didn't answer. That week at work, I threw myself into my patients with an intensity I hadn't felt in months. Without Emma's schedule dictating my life, I had time. Time to really sit with the families, to make the kids laugh, to be present in a way I'd been too fragmented to be before. One of my patients, a 9-year-old named Zoe with cystic fibrosis, drew me a picture. It was me in my scrubs with a huge smile surrounded by hearts. At the bottom she'd written, "You're my favorite nurse because you're always here." Always here. I was always there for strangers' children. Why had I spent 3 years also being always there for Emma's children, while never being there for myself? 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, Sarah invited me to join her travel nursing group. They were going to Montana for 6 months starting in January. Great pay, beautiful location, adventure. I said yes before I could overthink it. When I told my supervisor, she smiled. About time. You're one of the best nurses here. But I've watched you burn yourself out trying to be everything for everyone. Maybe it's time to just be something for yourself. I gave my landlord notice. I started selling furniture. I felt lighter with everything I got rid, like I was shedding weight I hadn't realized I'd been carrying. Emma texted me 4 times over those 2 weeks. Short messages. Emma, we should talk. Emma, Mom said you're moving? Emma, are you seriously not going to respond? Emma, this is childish. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. 3 days before I was supposed to leave, someone knocked on my door at 7 a.m. I answered it in my pajamas, coffee in hand, to find Emma standing there. She looked terrible. Hair in a messy ponytail, no makeup, eyes red. "Can I come in?" she asked. I hesitated, then stepped aside. She walked into my almost empty apartment, looking around at the bare walls, the boxes, the absence of everything that had made it home. "You're really leaving," she said. "I'm really leaving. Because of me. Because of me, actually. Because I spent so long being who everyone needed me to be that I forgot I could be someone for myself." She sat down on one of my remaining boxes, and I saw her hands were shaking. Derek left. I set my coffee down. What? 2 days ago. He said he needed space, that I've become someone he doesn't recognize, that I'm mean and entitled and he's tired of it. She looked up at me, tears spilling over. Was I mean to you? I sat down across from her on another box. Yes. I didn't mean to be, everything got so complicated. Derek's always comparing me to his sister, who has 3 kids and a bigger house, and his parents are always making comments about how I should be doing more, being more, and I felt like I was failing at everything even though I was trying so hard. And you were just there, always available. It felt like you didn't have real problems, you know? Like your life was simple, and mine was this impossible balancing act, and I resented you for having it so easy. Easy, I said. You thought my life was easy. You don't have kids depending on you. You don't have a marriage to maintain. You don't have in-laws criticizing every choice you make. Emma, I work in pediatric oncology. I watch children die. I hold parents while they say goodbye to their babies. I come home covered in other people's trauma and pain, and then I push it all down so I can show up for your kids the next day. That's not easy. That's exhausting. She wiped her eyes. I never thought about it that way. I know, that's the problem. I'm sorry. I know you are. But I don't think you're sorry for the right reasons. What does that mean? You're sorry because Derek left and you're alone and you're scared, but I don't think you're actually sorry for how you treated me. I think you're sorry that there are consequences. She flinched. That's not fair. Emma, you told me I was too much of a failure to attend Thanksgiving. You called my life a downer. You made it clear that unless I was being useful to you, I didn't have value. And now you're here because you're the one who feels like a failure, and you want me to make you feel better about it. That's not an apology. That's you needing something from me again. I need my sister. You had your sister. You just didn't want her unless she was convenient. She stood up, angry now. So that's it? I make one mistake and you just disappear? You move to another state and cut me out of your life? It wasn't one mistake. It was 3 years of mistakes that I kept excusing because I thought that's what family did. But you taught me something important at Thanksgiving. What? That being family isn't enough. You have to actually treat people like they matter. And you didn't. You treated me like I was an inconvenience that you tolerated because I was useful. I never thought of you that way. But you acted that way, and intentions don't matter as much as actions. She stared at me, then grabbed her purse. Fine. Run away to Montana. See if that makes you happy. I think it will, actually. She stopped at the door, hand on the knob. What am I supposed to tell Lily and Mason? They're going to ask where Aunt Sarah is. My name is Sarah. What? You just called me Aunt Sarah. My name is Sarah, your kid's aunt, whose apartment you've been to 100 times, who has taken care of them for 3 years. You called me the wrong name. Her face went white. That was just a slip. Was it? Or is that how little attention you've actually paid to me? She left without answering. I stood in my empty apartment, feeling the weight of 3 years finally lift off my shoulders. Montana was everything I needed it to be. Cold and beautiful and completely separate from everything I'd been. I made new friends, nurses who understood the work, who shared the weight of it instead of asking me to carry theirs too. I went hiking every weekend. I learned to ski. I adopted a dog, a 3-legged rescue named Bowie who followed me everywhere with devoted, uncomplicated love. 6 months in, I met Cameron at a volunteer event at the Children's Hospital. They were a teacher, patient, and kind, and they asked me questions about my life like they actually wanted to hear the answers. We started having coffee after their tutoring sessions, then dinner, then long walks with Bowie through the mountain trails. I don't understand how someone like you was single, Cameron said one night, sitting by a fire pit outside their cabin. I wasn't really available, I said. I was too busy being available for everyone else. They reached for my hand. I'm glad you're available now. I was too. Emma texted me on my birthday. Emma, happy birthday. I hope you're doing well. The kids miss you. Emma, I miss you too. Emma, Derek and I are in counseling. He came back. Things are getting better. Emma, I've been thinking a lot about what you said. You were right. I wasn't a good sister to you. Emma, I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. Really sorry. I read the messages, then put my phone down and went back to the birthday dinner Cameron had made. Homemade pasta, wine, chocolate cake, Bowie snoring at our feet, the mountains visible through the window, snow-capped and eternal. I texted back hours later. Me. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I'm glad you and Derek are working things out. I hope you're both happy. I didn't say I forgave her. I didn't say I missed her too. Because I didn't. Not really. I missed the sister I thought I had, but that person had never actually existed. What I'd found instead was better. A life where I mattered, where my time was mine, where the people around me saw me as more than convenient. I wasn't the peacekeeper anymore. I wasn't the one who smoothed things over or stayed late to clean up. I was just me, and for the first time in my adult life, that was enough.